The unemployed single mom who donated her lottery ticket to charity never imagined they would give her a new home in return. But that's exactly what happened to Sarah Michaels on a bitterly cold December morning when hope seemed as distant as summer sunshine. She huddled deeper into her threadbare coat, the zipper long broken, as the wind cut through the fabric like it wasn't even there. Her fingers, red and chapped, clutched a small paper bag containing a day-old muffin she'd bought at half price, breakfast for both her and 6-year-old Emma. The apartment they called home for now was 3 bus stops away, a cramped 1-bedroom with faulty heating and a landlord who'd already posted the eviction notice. 14 days until they needed somewhere else to go. Where that would be, Sarah had no idea. "Mommy, are we almost home?" "My fingers hurt," Emma whispered, her small hand tucked into Sarah's. Despite wearing the mittens Sarah had stayed up knitting last week, the child's fingers still felt like ice against her palm. "Just a little further, sweetheart," Sarah answered, forcing brightness into her voice that she didn't feel. The weight of their situation pressed down on her shoulders, heavier than the winter sky above them. "And guess what? I got us a chocolate chip muffin to share." Emma's face brightened momentarily, a flicker of childish delight that pierced Sarah's heart. Children should have more than half-a-day-old muffin to be excited about. They passed the corner store where Mr. Patterson, the elderly owner, waved at them through the window. Sarah waved back, managing a smile she didn't feel. That store, with its faded lottery advertisements and flickering neon signs, had been where everything started 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks and a lifetime ago. She had been standing at the counter with her last $5, debating between a gallon of milk or the electric bill payment, when she'd overheard a conversation about the Growing Kindness Foundation's charity drive. $5 for a lottery ticket, with proceeds going to build homes for families in need. In that moment, something inexplicable had happened inside her. Perhaps it was the way Emma had looked up at her, wide-eyed and trusting, or perhaps it was simply that Sarah needed to believe in something bigger than their problems. She'd handed over her last $5, milk and electric bill both forgotten, and bought that ticket. "We might not have much," she'd told Emma afterward, "but we can still help others." The words had tasted both bitter and sweet in her mouth. Bitter because they had so little. Sweet because, for a moment, she'd felt like more than just a failure. A former administrative assistant laid off when her company downsized, a single mother struggling to make rent, a woman whose every waking moment was consumed with worry. For that one small moment, she'd felt like someone who could make a difference. Now, as they climbed the creaking stairs to their apartment, Sarah wondered if that moment of moral victory had been worth the practical consequences. The electricity might be cut off tomorrow. The eviction notice pinned to their door seemed to glow in the dim hallway light, a paper beacon of her failure. Emma's small voice cut through her thoughts. "Can I have the big half of the muffin, Mommy? Please?" Sarah felt her heart twist. "Of course, baby." She unlocked their door, hit immediately by the chill inside that nearly matched the outdoors. "Let's keep our coats on while the heater warms up, okay?" The lie slipped out easily. The heater wouldn't warm up. She hadn't paid the gas bill, but Emma didn't need to know that. Sarah would pile all their blankets on the bed tonight, and they would cuddle close, pretending it was just a special sleepover. Inside, Sarah carefully divided the muffin, deliberately making Emma's portion larger while pretending they were even. As they ate at their small kitchen table, Sarah's phone buzzed with an unfamiliar number. Normally, she let unknown calls go to voicemail. Too often they were bill collectors, but something made her answer this time. "Is this Sarah Michaels?" a warm female voice asked. "Yes, this is she." Sarah watched as Emma gathered crumbs with a careful finger. "Miss Michaels, my name is Diana Chen from the Growing Kindness Foundation. Do you have a moment to talk?" Sarah's stomach tightened. Had there been some problem with her donation? Perhaps the credit card she'd used for the electric bill payment afterward had been declined, and they thought she had tried to get the money back? "Yes, I have a moment," she stammered. "Wonderful. I'm calling because we received your ticket donation to our charity lottery, and we'd like to invite you to our office tomorrow morning. Would 10 a.m. work for you?" Sarah frowned, confusion replacing anxiety. "I don't understand. I just bought a ticket and donated it back. It was only $5. There was a soft laugh on the other end of the line. "Yes, and we're very grateful for every donation, no matter the size. But we have something we'd like to discuss with you in person. Could you make it tomorrow?" Emma was watching her now, curious about her mother's puzzled expression. Yes, I suppose I could. Sarah quickly calculated that she could drop Emma at school and make it to the foundation's office if she skipped applying for the 2 jobs she'd planned to visit. "Can I ask what this is regarding?" "I'd rather not say over the phone, Ms. Michaels, but I promise it will be worth your time." After getting the address and ending the call, Sarah sat back, baffled. Emma tilted her head, chocolate smeared adorably at the corner of her mouth. "Who was that, Mommy?" "Just someone who wants to meet with me tomorrow," Sarah answered, reaching out to wipe her daughter's face with a napkin. "Nothing important." But as they prepared for bed that night, huddled together under every blanket they owned, Sarah couldn't help wondering what the Growing Kindness Foundation could possibly want with her. The lottery drawing wasn't for another week, and her ticket couldn't have won anything since she'd donated it back. Perhaps they needed verification of her donation for tax purposes? But for $5? Sleep came fitfully, interrupted by Emma's cold feet pressing against her legs and the incessant worry that had become Sarah's constant companion. When morning arrived, announced by weak winter sunlight filtering through their thin curtains, she felt no more rested than when she'd lain down. The morning routine unfolded with practiced efficiency, dressing Emma warmly, making oatmeal with the last of their milk, braiding Emma's hair into 2 neat plaits. Sarah saved the hottest water for Emma's quick bath, then took an icy shower herself, her body shivering violently as she rushed through it. After dropping Emma at school, Sarah made her way to the address Diana had provided. The Growing Kindness Foundation occupied a modest office in a converted Victorian house, its sign simple but welcoming. Sarah checked her reflection in a storefront window before entering, her coat buttoned to hide the worn sweater beneath, her hair neat despite using bar soap as shampoo for the past week. The receptionist smiled warmly. "Ms. Michaels? Diana is expecting you. Please go right in." She gestured toward an open door at the end of the hall. Diana Chen turned out to be a petite woman with kind eyes and a firm handshake. "Thank you so much for coming, Miss Michaels. Please have a seat." The office was cozy rather than imposing, with photographs of smiling families adorning the walls. Sarah perched on the edge of a comfortable chair, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. "I imagine you're curious about why I asked you here," Diana began, her smile genuine. "Yes, very," Sarah admitted. Diana leaned forward slightly. "Ms. Michaels, when you purchased your lottery ticket, you filled out a brief information card, correct?" Sarah nodded. "Just my name and contact information. And in the comment section, you wrote something quite remarkable." Diana picked up a paper from her desk. "I don't have much, but everyone deserves a home. Please use this to help a family who needs it more than we do." Heat rose to Sarah's cheeks. She remembered writing those words in a moment of emotional impulse, not expecting anyone to actually read them. "What you probably don't know," Diana continued, "is that our foundation has a special program called Circle of Giving. When we identify someone who gives generously despite their own circumstances, we sometimes choose to redirect our resources to help them." Sarah's brow furrowed. "I'm not sure I understand." Diana's smile widened. "After receiving your donation and note, we did a bit of research. We know you've been unemployed for 7 months following a company downsizing. We know you're facing eviction. And yet you gave what little you had to help others." Sarah felt suddenly exposed, vulnerable. "How did you—" "Public records mostly," Diana explained gently. "But that's not important. What's important is that your generosity touched our board deeply. Ms. Michaels, Sarah, we would like to offer you one of our foundation homes." The room seemed to tilt slightly. "I'm sorry, what?" "A home. One of our recently renovated properties. 3 bedrooms, energy efficient, in a good school district. We would provide you with a 5-year lease at a token rent of $1 per month, with an option to purchase at the end of that period through our assisted ownership program." Sarah's mouth opened, but no words came out. This couldn't be real. Things like this didn't happen in real life, and certainly not to her. There must be some mistake," she finally managed. "You build homes for families in genuine need, like yours?" Diana finished softly. "Sarah, you donated your last $5 to help someone else have a home while facing eviction yourself. If that doesn't qualify as genuine need coupled with extraordinary character, I don't know what does." The tears came without warning, hot and fast, spilling down Sarah's cheeks before she could stop them. She tried to speak, to say thank you or express her disbelief, but emotion closed her throat. Diana waited patiently, passing a box of tissues across the desk. When Sarah had composed herself somewhat, Diana continued, "There's more. We have a partnership with Riverview Community College. They've agreed to offer you enrollment in their administrative certification program, which includes internship placement. And we have a childcare cooperative for our foundation families. Sarah pressed a hand to her mouth, overwhelmed. Why? She whispered. Why me? Diana's expression softened. Because kindness should be a circle, not a one-way street. You gave when you had nothing to give. Now it's our turn. She slid a folder across the desk. These are the details. Take them home, read them over. The house is available whenever you're ready to see it. Sarah left the office in a daze, the folder clutched to her chest like a lifeline. The winter air that had seemed so bitter that morning now felt crisp and clean against her tear-stained face. She walked aimlessly for several blocks, trying to process what had just happened. A home. A real home with bedrooms and reliable heat. Education that could lead to a stable job. Childcare. A future. All because she'd bought a lottery ticket she couldn't afford and given it away. By the time she arrived to pick up Emma from school, Sarah had read through the folder 3 times, confirming that this wasn't an elaborate dream or cruel joke. When Emma bounded out of the classroom, Sarah lifted her in a hug that was more exuberant than usual. "Mommy, you're squishing me," Emma giggled but hugged back just as tightly. "I have a surprise," Sarah told her, setting her down but keeping hold of her small hand. "We're going to look at a new house. One that might be ours." Emma's eyes widened. "A real house? With stairs inside like Lily's house?" "I'm not sure about stairs, sweetie, but it's a real house." They took the bus to the address provided in the folder. As they approached, Sarah felt her heart hammering. The neighborhood was pleasant. Modest homes with small, neat yards, children's bicycles on porches, holiday decorations starting to appear in windows. The house itself was a blue craftsman-style bungalow with white trim and a small covered porch. Nothing extravagant, but solid and well-maintained, with a yard where Emma could play. A woman was waiting on the porch, keys in hand. "Ms. Michaels? I'm Vanessa from the foundation. Diana called to say you might be stopping by." Her smile included Emma, who was practically vibrating with excitement beside Sarah. "Is this really our house, Mommy?" Emma whispered loudly, making both adults smile. "Would you like to see inside?" Vanessa asked, directing the question to Emma, who nodded enthusiastically. The interior was simple but beautiful. Hardwood floors gleamed in the afternoon light streaming through large windows. The kitchen was equipped with basic but new appliances. Upstairs, yes, there were stairs inside, to Emma's delight, 3 bedrooms and a bathroom waited, all freshly painted in warm, neutral colors. The primary bedroom has an ensuite bathroom, Vanessa explained as she led them through. All the bedrooms have closets with built-in organizers. The basement is finished and could be used as a playroom or home office. Emma had already claimed the smallest bedroom as hers, spinning in circles in the empty space. "Can I have purple walls, Mommy? Please?" Sarah, who had been moving through the house in reverent silence, found her voice. "We can talk about purple walls, sweetheart." To Vanessa, she asked, When could we move in?" "As soon as tomorrow, if you'd like. The utilities are already on and paid through the end of the month. The foundation provides basic furnishings for all our homes: beds, a sofa, dining table, essential kitchenware. They'll be delivered first thing tomorrow if you decide to accept." "If I decide?" Sarah echoed, incredulous. "Of course I accept. This is a miracle." Vanessa smiled, handing over a set of keys that felt impossibly heavy in Sarah's palm. "Diana said you'd say that. She also said to tell you it's not a miracle, just people helping people, the way you tried to help by donating your ticket." That night, as they packed their meager belongings in the apartment that had been slowly crushing Sarah's spirit, Emma chattered excitedly about her new purple room and whether they might get a cat someday. Sarah moved through the familiar motions of their evening routine in a state of stunned gratitude. After Emma had fallen asleep, Sarah sat by their window, looking out at the night sky. For the first time in months, the knot of anxiety in her chest had loosened. In its place was something fragile and precious, something she had almost forgotten: hope. The move the next day was surreal in its simplicity. 2 foundation volunteers arrived with a small truck to help transport their few boxes. By noon, they were standing in their new living room, surrounded by the promised basic furnishings. Emma immediately set about arranging her stuffed animals on her new bed, while Sarah wandered from room to room, running her hands over solid walls and smooth countertops. In the kitchen, she found a welcome basket filled with groceries. Real, fresh food, not the budget items she'd been stretching for weeks. A note on top read simply, "Welcome home. Diana and the GKF team." Sarah sank into a chair at the kitchen table, her kitchen table, and allowed herself finally to believe that this was real. The days that followed had a dreamlike quality. Sarah enrolled in the administrative certification program, discovering that she had a natural aptitude for the more advanced software they taught. Emma thrived in the childcare cooperative, making friends and returning home each day with art projects and stories. Winter melted into spring. Sarah's coursework led to an internship with a local marketing firm, where her diligence and quick learning caught the attention of the department head. A month before her certification would be complete, they offered her a full-time position to start immediately after graduation. Through it all, Sarah maintained contact with the growing Kindness Foundation. She volunteered at their events whenever she could, sharing her story when asked, though it still felt unreal to her sometimes. She watched as other families received keys to their own homes, recognized the same disbelief and overwhelming gratitude in their eyes that she had felt. One evening in late spring, Sarah sat on the porch swing they'd added to their front porch, watching Emma ride her new bicycle, a birthday gift from Sarah's coworkers, up and down the sidewalk. The air was sweet with the scent of the lilacs she'd planted along the fence. From somewhere down the street came the sound of a lawnmower and children's laughter. Diana Chen's car pulled up in front of the house, and Sarah waved as the foundation director approached, carrying a small gift bag. "Just thought I'd stop by to see how you're settling in," Diana said, joining Sarah on the swing. "Though from the looks of things, I needn't have worried." Sarah smiled, watching as Emma abandoned her bicycle to show Diana her latest cartwheel technique. "We're more than settling in. We're blooming." Diana handed her the gift bag, a little housewarming present. "Belated, I know." Inside, Sarah found a small crystal lotus flower, catching the evening light in rainbow patterns. "It's beautiful," she murmured, turning it to watch the light play through it. "In many cultures, the lotus symbolizes rebirth and resilience," Diana explained. "It grows from murky waters to become something beautiful. Reminded me of you." Sarah blinked back tears. "I don't know if I'll ever be able to thank you properly." Diana shook her head. "You already have. Not just with your volunteer hours, although we appreciate those tremendously, but by showing us that our faith in human kindness is well placed." She watched Emma attempting a second cartwheel. "Besides, someday you'll be in a position to help someone else who's where you were." That's how the circle continues. Later that night, after Emma was asleep in her purple bedroom, Sarah stood in front of the bathroom mirror, really looking at herself for the first time in months. The perpetual worry lines around her eyes had softened. Her shoulders no longer hunched forward as if carrying an invisible weight. She looked at peace. On the window ledge, the crystal lotus caught the bathroom light, sending tiny rainbows across the walls. Sarah touched it gently, thinking of how far they'd come from that cold December day when she'd spent her last $5 on a lottery ticket for someone else. She hadn't known then that the someone else would turn out to be her, that her small act of generosity would create ripples that would return to her multiplied 1,000-fold. That kindness, like Diana said, could be a circle. Sarah turned off the light and moved through the darkened hallway of her home, checking the locks, a habit born of finally having something precious to protect. Outside, the spring night was full of promise, the stars visible through the skylight they'd installed last month. Tomorrow would bring work and Emma's soccer practice and the meetings to plan the foundation's summer fundraiser. Normal life with its challenges and joys. But tonight, in this quiet moment, Sarah acknowledged the extraordinary journey that had brought them here. From an unemployed single mom donating her last $5 to a woman with a career, a home, and hope for the future. It hadn't been just luck or charity. It had been connection. Human beings recognizing the humanity in each other and responding with compassion. Sarah curled up in her bed, the sheets clean and smelling of the lavender detergent she could now afford. Outside her window, the moon cast silver light across her garden, where tomorrow Emma would help her plant sunflowers along the fence. The circle of kindness continued, growing wider with each passing day. And Sarah, once standing outside that circle looking in, now found herself firmly within it, not just receiving, but giving back in ways large and small, her life a testament to what becomes possible when generosity meets opportunity. In the quiet of her home, surrounded by the fruits of unexpected blessing, Sarah drifted to sleep with a smile on her face, dreaming not of what she had gained, but of what she would give next.